What is up, my ducks and drakes? Welcome to the Crawdad Lake, and today I wanted to wrap my content back around to Saner sides for a while since, you know, it's been a second. I haven't had many ideas for this series given the slower production of content to work with, but the mini episodes and short skits have provided me with the material I need to get my cogs coggin' and my thinkers thonkin'. With that being said, before we begin, remember to hit that subscribe button and notification bell if you'd like to see more Saner Sides content like this. I haven't made anything like this in a while, so interacting with the video is the best way to let me know that this is something you like seeing, and trust me, I've missed talking about this series. So, the dark sides. I want to examine what they are, how Thomas perceives them, and their actual impact on Thomas despite his perceptions. I wanted to start with the label dark sides. As a reminder, we first hear this term, dark sides, used at the end of Can Lying Be Good, a label given to sides who aren't the OG 3 by Roman, who is known throughout the series for giving the other side's pesky nicknames, typically as a form of bullying.
Are there any other sides that deceit has hidden away from me? Yes, the dark sides. Well, that's not the answer that I wanted, in full honesty. I made that name up. It's pretty cool, right? Nice and foreboding, thank you.
Roman offhandedly gave Janus and the others the label dark sides as a blanket term to describe Janus, then only known as Deceit, and his friends, whom they had not met yet. Roman perceives them as dark sides because of his connection to Patton, Thomas's morality, and Thomas's overall views on what is considered good and bad. Yes, those are all basically the same thing, mainly based on his Catholic upbringing, as stated by Logan in dealing with intrusive thoughts.
Thomas's Catholic upbringing has instilled in him that thought is a precursor to action.
In fact, in that episode, we learn that Remus and Roman are only two separate entities because of Thomas's view on what's good and bad creativity.
Because of your view of creativity and imagination as a purely good force. At a young age, you filed away products of your imagination as either welcome or forbidden. This led to the development of two separate sides of your creativity.
Dark sides, despite its popular use within the fandom, is not an accurate label for those who aren't our core 3. It was another mean nickname given by Roman that stuck more than the others because of our lack of alternatives. Sticking with this nickname is just as silly as if we never called Logan Logan, but instead only called him Nerdy Wolverine. Light sides is in the same boat. Virgil has been vocally uncomfortable with the dark side's nickname for them as well, having come from that side of Thomas's mind.
I thought that I would be able to protect you from them. The dark sides? The others.
The entire point of the show is self-acceptance and learning about oneself, and there would be no part of Thomas that is truly dark and sinister because that would be a moral value, which Patton would hold, and we know Patton isn't like that. But where is this aggression coming from on Roman's side? Roman has been constantly breezed over in the last few episodes, and it isn't doing him any good. Roman is Thomas's passion, and he wants more than anything to go to the callback, as one would assume from your hopes and dreams, when your hope and dream is to be an actor. But on top of being passion, he is also Thomas's ego, and there are only so many times you can be bruised before you become severely hurt, both metaphorically in Thomas's ego's case and literally in Roman's case as a personified version of Thomas's ego. This started with selfishness versus selflessness, when Roman was agreeing with Janus. This was for multiple reasons, the first being that Roman agreed with Janus and wanted to go to the callback. That was obvious, even if Roman didn't want it to be. Roman, just like Thomas, sees everything as black and white morally, and has this idea that Janus is bad and that nothing he has to contribute could be good. So Roman now feels immense guilt for siding with the person he believes to always be wrong and evil at that. But at the same time, Roman has been ignored by the others, with Patton at the forefront of this. Thomas's hopes and dreams not being considered, and the idea that going to the wedding is the morally correct thing to do, no questions asked, because it's selfless compared to selfishly going to the callback. At the end of the episode, Thomas admits,
Fine, I want to go to the callback!
He wants. His wants are Roman's job, and this want has been eating at both of them this entire time. Thomas, at the end, when he admitted his want for the callback, he said it out of guilt and accusation. He said it with the thought that he was wrong for wanting it, which would presumably make Roman feel the same. Guilty for wanting something for themselves, for wanting to be selfish. Roman is furthermore continuously ignored in the next episode, dealing with intrusive thoughts. For whatever reason, he was not let in on the clear thing burdening Thomas. He was knocked out for 90% of the episode. Then, at the end, when he came to a realization and tried to express his feelings and communicate his thoughts, he was immediately shut down by Logan, claiming that it didn't matter and that what mattered was what Thomas felt.
I love you! Are you good? I don't know. Oh, are you hurt at all? My head's fine. More than anything, I feel like I was struck by a realization. Like Einstein with the apple. You mean Newton? Oh, shut up, nerdy Wolverine. No! Ugh! I mean... I'm sorry, Logan. I didn't mean that. It's quite all right, Roman. However, the more pertinent question is Thomas all right?
Roman is a part of Thomas. Roman finally was going to speak his mind, but he was turned down. It was frustrating to watch as a viewer. I just need to know what his realization was, and my hope for the season finale is that it would be Roman-centric, because he desperately needs it. Anyway, staying on topic, putting others first was the worst contender for Roman in terms of his ego. He tries so desperately to make points that agree with Patton, to prove himself, and not to be this immoral waiver on Thomas, with Roman earlier admitting in SVS that going to the callback would be achieving their hopes and dreams under deceitful means, even though he didn't have to lie about the callback, and Roman just implying that deceit had to be involved since Janus was the one advocating for this action. Roman gets so upset by the end of this episode because everything that he has been fighting for, everything that he has given up in the name of bettering Thomas, comes crumbling down around him, and his world is shattered. Roman's crash out was justified in this case. At the end of putting others first, we see Roman at his breaking point. He has been doing his best to follow along with and support Patton in his efforts to justify going to the wedding because Roman already gave up on his dreams. He can't go back, so this wedding must have been for something. So when Patton admits, with the help of Janus, aka the person that's been phrased as a villain this whole time, that it wasn't in Thomas's best interest to go to the wedding, Roman had to deal with the idea that his life's work was ruined and that the villain in his story was correct all in one moment.
Are you guys seriously going to take his side? No, over me? Thomas. I thought I was your hero. You are. Wow. I can't believe this. Did you forget that he's evil? You're not. Or you're not supposed to be. You're supposed to be good. You can't.
Now I'm sure you're asking yourself why I went on this long rant about Roman. Well, this is because the dark sides are more than they are presented. And we can see a lot of that through their relationship with Roman, but also because the Roman slander in the series has been criminal, and as a Roman stan, I can't stand it. I'm so funny. Relationship-wise, Roman's reliance on Janus could be our biggest clue into Janus being something more than we see on the surface. Janus, my dear friends, isn't just the embodiment of deceit. He is, more importantly so, the embodiment of self-preservation. Janus, being the side in control of that, not only makes sense, but will help support my bigger argument further on. How could I think that Janus is self-preservation? A lot of it has to do with how Thomas and Patton perceive caring for himself and how Janus goes about his job with this information at play. Firstly, think of deceit and lying as a whole. Why do you do it? The National Institutes of Health have published a study by, and forgive me if I butcher these names, Enrique Armas Vargas, Rosario J. Mario, and Juan A. Hernandez Cabrera, stating the 3 types of reasons we lie is A. Instrumental, to gain power, influence others, avoid disapproval, or do harm. B. Identity, to improve the image we present to others, avoid shame, improve or protect self-esteem, and increase social desirability. And C. Relational, to influence our relationships with others. Most, if not all of these reasons people lie are to protect themselves or have a situation work in a desirable way for them. It's a form of protecting yourself, aka self-preservation. It could be easily said that Thomas views protecting himself as inherently bad because he has been raised to think that taking care of himself is wrong, as discussed at the end of Putting Others First. Every appearance he's had since his initial one, minus his guest appearances in Why Do We Get Out of Bed in the Morning and Embarrassing Phases, has been to protect Thomas's mental health or well-being. Janus spent the entirety of Selfishness versus Selflessness advocating that Thomas wants to go to the callback. He wasn't there strictly to convince Thomas to go to the callback or convince him to lie about anything or prove he's a bad person. His consistent goal throughout the whole 40 minutes is just to get Thomas to admit what he truly wants, to advocate for his desires. We see more of this in Putting Others First, when Janus comes out strictly to tell Thomas that he needs to care for himself and that he doesn't need to give up all of his happiness for the sake of others. We even see this in Dealing with Intrusive Thoughts, from Remus recounting his discussion with Janus during Forbidden Fruit.
He said you're wanting to be more honest and be direct dealing with your issues. No longer will you deceive yourself about the ugliness within you.
He admits Thomas wants to learn all about himself, not understanding that the bad comes with the good. With all the stress he's been putting on himself, he learns about other darker parts of himself sooner rather than later.
A lack of control and self-esteem are 2 factors that you all now understand can worsen Thomas's relationship with intrusive thoughts, and they have.
The intrusive thoughts coming as a result of Thomas's life not going very well and his mind reacting negatively to the stress.
Well, how are you doing right now? I don't know. I'm fine. Virgil, how's he doing? He recently realized he's a bigger liar than he thought he was. He doesn't understand himself. He's committed to skipping a big callback, and he's sleep deprived. So yeah, he feels like a piece of dirt who has no control over his life.
This is where the connection between Janus and Roman becomes integral, because ego and sense of self go hand in hand. Roman is so connected to Janus from the start because achieving hopes and dreams, you must be selfish enough to pursue them. To act, feeling confident in your abilities and strategies is crucial to working well with others in such a naturally competitive environment. Roman and Janus's wants will always align because whether he wants to or not, Roman's wants will always be selfish. After all, it is his job as ego to support Thomas's self-image, which involves being selfish to achieve. Which sounds bad if you are Roman and believe in Patton that anything selfish is bad for not being at the benefit of others. But Roman's selfishness is integral to Thomas feeling like a person with control over his life, caring for his basic needs mentally and spiritually to give his life purpose.
Leisure is something that Thomas needs more of in his life in order to feel like he has a life.
Janus isn't hurting Thomas. He is actively trying to help him. It is instead Roman and Patton's reaction to Janus's suggestions that make them seem more villainous than one would first believe. Much like how it is Patton and Virgil's reactions to Remus being what causes Thomas distress and not Remus's ideas themselves that are actively harming Thomas. This is also the same with Roman's connection to Remus. I've had friends tell me that my argument saying that the others aren't straight up evil is wrong because of Remus and him not showing any direct signs of caring for Thomas or their thoughts contributing to anything useful. But I disagree. Maybe Remus himself isn't doing anything good, but that's because you are looking at Remus by himself. Remus is only half of creativity. Roman is the other half. They are two halves of the same side. Now, I'm not even making the argument that they used to be the same singular side, such as fan-made Romulus, though that would make sense. Even if they always were two separate people and always will be, they are still both creativity and contribute to Thomas's thinking as such. Remus giving Thomas the ideas, like him having a screw in his oatmeal or there's a bear trap behind his sink, is the same as Roman giving Thomas an idea for a game or having him imagine something there while improvising. They are just contributing to their types of thought. Remus, while being chaotic, has never directly vocalized a desire to hurt Thomas. He is just a silly little rat boy who is contributing what he is able to, even if Virgil and Patton react in a way that hinders Thomas. Now, why am I bringing all of this mumbo-jumbo up if I'm supposed to be talking about the use of the label dark sides? I bring it up because I just proved why it doesn't work. We know of 3 out of the 4 known others, so we can confirm that at least 2 out of the 4 so-called dark sides want what's best for Thomas, the same way Roman, Patton, and Logan do, and they go about it in their own ways. The first side to prove this point was Virgil. He came from the group of others, having originally been seen by Thomas as a purely negative force, a hindrance that kept him from sleeping or having a good time. Virgil's entire arc throughout season 1 was everyone learning the importance of anxiety and why it isn't some purely evil entity. Virgil never wanted to hurt Thomas, quite the opposite. Virgil's job was to protect Thomas from any threat, even if logically there was none, and he did one hell of a good job at it. The same principle has been set in motion with Janus. He has been this sneaky snake here to destroy Thomas's life, but instead he has shown himself to want to protect Thomas by preserving his friendship with Joan, even if it was through deceitful means, encouraging Thomas to be honest with himself and his wants, convincing Thomas to take a life-changing job opportunity, informing Thomas that he needs to care for himself, and aiding Thomas in that said mental health crisis. Of course, at times, this is skewed negatively, but that's because before the end of putting others first, Patton, Thomas's sense of right and wrong, viewed self-preservation as inherently wrong and selfish in a bad way. I know I said 2 out of the 4, but that's because while Remus hasn't shown to want to hurt Thomas, he hasn't yet voiced a direct way in which he's trying to help either. Remus is still this ambiguous force who is just doing his job of providing creativity that does not align with Thomas's views of good creativity, as enforced by his Catholic upbringing. Although, by being himself and doing his job, he's doing what Janus told him during Forbidden Fruit, and helping Thomas to see all of him, whether he views it as good or bad. So one may view that as helping Thomas, even if it is in a way that it's not positively impacting him in the current moment. At the end of the day, I've had people make the argument that they are evil for Thomas because they bring up bad suggestions or have ideas that have the potential to hurt Thomas or his friends, but all the sides have. It's all about balance. Logan, in Accepting Anxiety Part 2, demonstrated the Yerkes-Dodson curve. Listening to any one side too much throws off the balance and heightens the side's effects, as seen when the core 4 are in Virgil's room. Yes, if Thomas only listened to Janus, then his self-indulgence could be taken too far, but we've seen the negative effects Thomas has gone through by listening to Patton too much and prioritizing doing the right thing morally. Another update, the advert for the Janus and Remus U2s just dropped. The commercial, while playing dark and foreboding, has a warning at the end that says, "Warning, if fully accepted as a normal part of the human psyche, Hush plushies will lose their scarier Hush-like qualities." And while I don't know how canon this plushie commercial is, it does support what I've been saying this entire time. They're only scary and dark because that's how Thomas and Patton view them. Once they are accepted and understood, they will lose that scariness. You can even see this idea presented in the Asides episode where they do their second gift exchange, run by Logan, to include Janus and Remus. Logan, knowing Roman and Patton may be biased and not include them, runs the event himself to make sure everyone is included because every part of Thomas deserves to be accepted. So yeah, the Dark Sides label is pretty BS, and I believe that it shouldn't be used in the fandom anymore. Of course, we haven't yet met the Orange Side, but at least 3/4 of the others aren't there to harm Thomas, so they can't be Dark Sides, unless Dark Sides has an alternate meaning that I may not understand, since I know the label comes from Star Wars and I am unfamiliar with the franchise. I will stick to my reasoning. With that being said, thank you so much for watching. For more videos like this, stay tuned. I'm sure I'll have more ideas eventually. Will 100% be reacting to the season finale once that drops. With that being said, subscribe for more Standard Sides content, comment your thoughts, and, much like me, grappling with whether or not to post this video, do your best.